Commander Jake Morrison stood on the bridge of the orbital defense station, watching the morning sunrise paint new Terra in golden light. The planet below looked peaceful with its blue oceans and green continents that reminded him of Earth. 10 billion people lived down there in cities that sparkled like jewels across the surface. Children were going to school, parents heading to work, and families starting another ordinary day. Jake had been stationed above New Terra for 3 years now. He loved this assignment because the colony world represented everything good about human expansion into space. The terraforming projects had created perfect weather patterns. The cities were clean and efficient. The people were happy and prosperous. New Terra was proof that humans could build something beautiful among the stars. His communications officer turned toward him with a puzzled expression. "Commander, we have unknown contacts dropping out of hyperspace at the system edge." Jake walked over to the tactical display. Dozens of red dots appeared on the screen, moving in perfect formation toward New Terra. The ships were huge, much larger than anything in the human fleet. Their design looked alien, with curves and spikes that no human engineer would create. "Have we received any communication from them?" Jake asked. "Nothing, sir. They are not responding to our hail attempts." Jake felt a cold feeling in his stomach. In all the years of human expansion, they had never encountered another intelligent species. Earth scientists had always wondered when first contact would happen and how it would go. Most people hoped it would be peaceful. Continue trying to reach them. Send the standard greeting in all frequencies. The alien fleet moved closer to New Terra with steady determination. Jake counted at least 50 ships, each one the size of a city. Their hulls gleamed with a dark metal that seemed to absorb light. Strange energy readings came from their weapon systems. Dr. Lisa Parker called from the planet's surface. Her voice sounded worried through the communication link. "Jake, our long-range sensors are picking up massive energy signatures from those ships. Whatever they are, they have enough firepower to level entire continents." "I see them too, Lisa. Keep monitoring from down there and be ready to implement evacuation protocols if needed." Jake hoped it would not come to that. Evacuating 10 billion people would take months, even with every transport ship working at full capacity. The alien fleet would reach New Terra in less than 6 hours at their current speed. "Sir, I am getting weapon locks from the lead alien vessels," his tactical officer reported. "Weapon locks? On what targets?" "On everything, sir. The orbital stations, the planet's surface, our defensive platforms. They are targeting civilian population centers." Jake's blood ran cold. Population centers meant cities full of innocent people. Children playing in parks, families eating dinner, students attending universities. Why would aliens target civilians instead of military installations? "Raise shields and power all weapons. Send an emergency message to Earth Command. Tell them we have hostile alien contact and request immediate reinforcement." The bridge crew moved with practiced efficiency. Warning klaxons began sounding throughout the station. Jake knew that similar alarms were going off on every human installation in the system. "Commander Morrison, this is New Terra Control," came Lisa's voice again. "We are beginning preliminary evacuation procedures for major population centers. How much time do we have?" "Unknown. The alien fleet is not communicating and they have weapons locked on civilian targets. Get as many people off planet as possible." Jake watched helplessly as the alien fleet entered the inner system. Their ships moved with deadly grace, spreading out to surround New Terra completely. There would be no escape routes once they finished their deployment. The first alien ship opened fire without warning. A beam of pure energy lanced out from the massive vessel and struck New Terra's largest city. The beam burned through the atmosphere like a sword of light. When it hit the surface, the entire city vanished in a flash of white fire. 5 million people died in that single moment. Return fire. All platforms engage the alien fleet. Jake's orbital defense stations launched everything they had. Missiles and energy weapons reached out toward the alien ships. The weapons struck their targets but seemed to do no damage. The alien vessels had shields that absorbed the attacks effortlessly. More beams rained down from the sky. City after city disappeared in flashes of destruction. Jake could see the lights going out across New Terra's night side as entire continents burned. The aliens were not trying to capture territory or resources. They were systematically destroying every sign of human civilization. "Commander, civilian transports are launching from all spaceports," reported his communications officer. "They are requesting escort protection. All fighter squadrons protect the evacuation ships. Get those people out of here." Jake watched on his screens as hundreds of transport vessels lifted off from New Terra's surface. The ships were overloaded with refugees fleeing the destruction below. Families crowded into cargo holds designed for supplies. Parents held crying children who did not understand why their world was ending. The alien fleet noticed the evacuation attempts. Their smaller ships broke off from the bombardment and moved to intercept the transports. Jake realized with horror that the aliens intended to hunt down every single human trying to escape. "This is Transport 7 requesting assistance. We have alien fighters closing on our position. Transport 12 is taking fire. Our engines are damaged. Transport 23 reporting direct hit. We are going down." One by one, the evacuation ships were destroyed. The alien fighters showed no mercy, targeting even the most defenseless civilian vessels. Jake watched families die in the cold vacuum of space as their ships exploded around them. Dr. Lisa Parker's voice came through the communication system one last time. "Jake, they are targeting the underground shelters now. They are using some kind of penetrating weapon that can reach the deepest bunkers. There's nowhere left to hide." Then her signal went dead. Jake stood on his bridge watching New Terra die. The beautiful world that had been humanity's greatest achievement was becoming a burnt wasteland. The aliens were thorough in their destruction, making sure that nothing would survive. His tactical officer looked up from his console with tears in his eyes. "Sir, only 3 transport ships made it to the hyperspace jump point. Out of 10 billion people, maybe 50,000 survived." The alien fleet finished their work and began withdrawing from the system. They had completed their mission of destruction and were leaving as suddenly as they had arrived. They left no message, no demand for surrender, no explanation for their actions. Jake stared at the ruins of New Terra and felt something break inside his soul. 50,000 survivors out of 10 billion people, an entire world murdered for no reason that humans could understand. The aliens had sent a message written in fire and death. Humanity would remember that message, and the galaxy would learn what happened when someone killed human children. Admiral Kate Sullivan walked into the underground war room beneath Tercom headquarters with heavy steps. The massive screens on the walls showed nothing but empty space where New Terra used to shine. 3 small transport ships sat in Earth's orbital docks, carrying the only survivors of humanity's greatest colony world. The war room had been built during Earth's unification wars 50 years ago. Back then, humans fought each other with nuclear weapons and orbital bombardments. Now Kate realized those old wars were just practice for something much worse. President Daniel Hayes sat at the head of the conference table looking like he had aged 10 years in the past week. His face was pale, and his hands shook slightly as he reviewed the reports from New Terra. Around the table sat the most powerful people on Earth, all of them struggling to understand what had happened. "Show me the footage," again, the president said quietly. The main screen displayed the final transmission from New Terra. "Jake," Morrison's voice came through the speakers describing the alien attack as it happened in real time. Everyone in the room had seen this recording dozens of times, but they watched again in complete silence. The images showed cities burning from space, civilian transports exploding as they tried to escape, alien ships hunting down families like they were animals. The footage ended when New Terra's communication satellites were destroyed, cutting off all contact with the colony world. Dr. Marcus Webb cleared his throat and stood up. He was the director of Advanced Weapons Research, a department that most people in government did not know existed. His projects were classified at levels so high that even the president needed special permission to access them. "We always knew this day might come," Marcus said. "Earth has been preparing for hostile alien contact since we first left the solar system. The projects I'm about to show you have been kept secret for good reasons." He activated a holographic display that showed technical specifications for weapon systems that looked like science fiction, energy cannons that could crack planets in half, ships with armor made from materials that did not exist in nature, missiles that could track targets across multiple star systems. "These weapons violate several interstellar treaties," Marcus continued. "They are designed to fight wars of complete extermination. We built them hoping we would never need them." Admiral Sullivan leaned forward to study the weapon designs. "How many of these systems are actually built and ready for deployment?" "All of them. We have been constructing these weapons in hidden facilities throughout the solar system for the past 30 years. Asteroid mining operations that were really weapon factories. research stations that were actually testing grounds for planet-killing technology. President Hayes stood up and walked to the window that looked out over Earth's capital city. Millions of people lived down there, going about their daily lives without knowing that their entire species had been marked for extinction by alien monsters. The survivors from New Terra are being debriefed by our intelligence teams, he said. Their testimony is consistent. The aliens showed no interest in communication, negotiation, or territorial conquest. They came to commit genocide and send humanity a message. Captain Amy Foster entered the war room, carrying classified folders marked with security clearances that most people had never seen. She was in charge of military recruitment, and her expression was grim but determined. "Sir, we are receiving volunteer applications at a rate of 50,000 per hour, she reported. Every military base on Earth has lines of people waiting to enlist. The mood among the civilian population is unlike anything we have seen since the Unification Wars." Kate knew that Captain Foster was being diplomatic with her language. The real mood on Earth was pure rage. When the footage from New Terra had been released to the public, riots had broken out in every major city. Not riots of despair, but riots of people demanding immediate war against the aliens who had murdered 10 billion humans. "What is our industrial capacity for military production?" the president asked. Dr. Webb smiled for the first time since entering the room. "We have been building hidden shipyards and weapon factories for decades. Most of Earth's asteroid belt mining operations are actually military facilities in disguise. We can begin full war production immediately." Jake Morrison walked into the room, escorted by security guards. The commander had been one of the few military survivors from New Terra, and his testimony would be crucial for planning the war. His face was hollow, and his eyes held the look of a man who had watched his entire world die. "Commander Morrison, you have seen these aliens in combat," Admiral Sullivan said. "What can you tell us about their capabilities?" Jake sat down heavily in a chair and stared at the table for several seconds before answering. "Their ships are larger and more advanced than anything we have. Their weapons can destroy entire cities in seconds. Their shields stopped everything we threw at them." "What about their tactics and behavior?" President Hayes asked. "They are not interested in conquering territory or capturing resources. They came to New Terra specifically to kill every human they could find. When they finished destroying the planet, they left immediately. This was not a military operation. It was an extermination." Dr. Webb activated another holographic display, showing alien ship designs based on Jake's observations. The vessels were huge and heavily armed, built for maximum destructive power rather than speed or maneuverability. "We have been analyzing the energy signatures from their weapons," Marcus said. "Our new shield technology should be able to deflect their attacks. More importantly, our quantum disruption weapons will tear through their hulls like paper." President Hayes turned to address the entire room. "The Terran Defense Council has made its decision. We are not going to hide on Earth waiting for the next alien attack. We are not going to negotiate with creatures that murder human children. We are going to find every single alien responsible for New Terra and kill them all." Admiral Sullivan stood at attention. "What are our operational objectives, sir?" "Complete extermination of the hostile alien species. No survivors, no prisoners, no mercy. They chose to make this a war of extinction, so extinction is what they will get." Dr. Webb began outlining deployment schedules for Earth's secret weapons. Hidden factories throughout the solar system would begin producing warships designed for one purpose: killing aliens. The ships would carry weapons that could sterilize entire planets and crews trained to show no mercy to any non-human intelligence. Captain Foster received authorization to begin recruiting the largest military force in human history. Every able-bodied person on Earth would have the opportunity to serve in humanity's war of revenge. The training programs would be brutal, and the missions would be dangerous, but there would be no shortage of volunteers. The meeting continued through the night as Earth's leaders planned Operation Alien Extinction. By dawn, production orders had been sent to every military facility in the solar system. Humanity's war machine was awakening from its long sleep, and it was hungry for alien blood. Jake Morrison sat alone in the empty war room after everyone else had left. He thought about the families he had failed to save on New Terra, and the children who had died in the alien bombardment. The monsters who had committed that atrocity would pay for every life they had taken. Earth was no longer interested in peaceful expansion among the stars. The galaxy was about to learn what happened when someone decided to exterminate the human species. Colonel Ryan Bell stood on the bridge of the battleship Earth's Fury as his fleet prepared to drop out of hyperspace at the edge of Zephyrian territory. 6 months had passed since New Terra burned, and humanity's war machine had worked day and night to build the largest military force in human history. 300 warships filled with Earth's most advanced weapons were about to announce humanity's arrival to the galaxy. The Zephyrians had given themselves a name during the interrogation of captured communication signals. They called themselves the masters of this region of space and considered all other species to be inferior creatures that existed only by their permission. They had ruled over dozens of star systems for thousands of years, crushing any species that dared to challenge their dominance. "Drop us out of hyperspace in 30 seconds, Ryan ordered his navigation officer. The human fleet emerged from hyperspace in perfect formation, their ships gleaming with new armor that reflected no light. The Zephyrian border patrol was waiting for them with a small force of 20 vessels, expecting desperate refugees fleeing toward the outer rim of the galaxy. Instead, they found an armada of ships that looked like nothing they had ever seen before. "Sir, we are receiving communications from the Zephyrian patrol," reported the communications officer. "They are demanding that we surrender immediately and prepare to be destroyed." Ryan smiled coldly. "Send them our reply." The human fleet opened fire simultaneously. Beams of pure energy reached out across space and struck the Zephyrian ships with devastating force. The alien vessels exploded one after another, as their shields failed to stop weapons designed specifically to kill their technology. Within minutes, the entire Zephyrian patrol was reduced to floating debris. Not a single human ship had taken damage in the engagement. Earth scientists had studied every piece of data from New Terra and built weapons that could penetrate Zephyrian defenses with ease, all ships report. "Successful target elimination," came the tactical report. "We are detecting multiple Zephyrian distress signals being broadcast toward their inner systems." "Good," Ryan said. "Let them know we are coming." Lieutenant Commander Helen Gray piloted the stealth destroyer, Earth's vengeance, deep into Zephyrian space using technology that made her ship completely invisible to alien sensors. Her mission was to seed their supply lines with nanobots that would consume everything the aliens needed to fight their war. Helen had volunteered for this assignment because her brother had died on New Terra. He was a teacher at one of the schools that the Zephyrians had specifically targeted during their bombardment. She carried pictures of his students in her pocket, children who would never grow up because alien monsters had decided to commit genocide. Approaching the first supply depot, her navigation officer whispered. The Zephyrian logistics base appeared on their screens, a massive facility that supplied fuel and ammunition to their military forces throughout the sector. Hundreds of alien workers moved cargo between ships and storage facilities, completely unaware that death was approaching them. Helen launched a single missile that contained billions of self-replicating nanobots designed by Earth's most brilliant scientists. The nanobots were programmed to consume specific materials found in Zephyrian technology while multiplying exponentially. They would spread throughout the alien supply network like a technological plague. The missile struck the supply depot and released its cargo. Within hours, the nanobots had consumed every piece of Zephyrian equipment in the facility. The alien workers watched helplessly as their ships dissolved into metallic dust and their weapons crumbled. In their hands, Dr. Paul Carter supervised the loading of quantum plague missiles aboard the Dreadnought, human retribution in Earth's hidden shipyards. These weapons represented the darkest achievement of human science, designed to target the genetic structure of Zephyrian DNA and make their worlds uninhabitable for their species. Paul had lost his wife and daughter on New Terra when the aliens bombed the hospital where they worked. His family had dedicated their lives to healing people, and alien monsters had murdered them for no reason other than species hatred. Now Paul would use his knowledge of genetics to ensure that no Zephyrian would ever be born again. The targeting systems are calibrated for maximum atmospheric dispersion, he reported to the weapons officer. Each missile will render an entire planet toxic to Zephyrian biology within 72 hours of detonation. The quantum plague was designed to be completely harmless to human life while being instantly lethal to any creature with Zephyrian DNA. It would spread through their atmosphere and water systems, ensuring that every alien on the target world would die slowly and painfully. General Susan Wright, coordinated the simultaneous assault on 17 Zephyrian core worlds from her command ship, Terra's Vengeance, and she had been Earth's most decorated military commander during the Unification Wars, and now she was applying those same tactics on a galactic scale. All attack groups report ready for synchronized bombardment, came the report from her tactical staff. Susan studied the holographic display showing Zephyrian space. Each red dot represented a world full of the creatures that had murdered 10 billion humans. Soon those dots would turn gray, marking dead worlds where nothing would ever live again. Begin Operation Alien Extinction, she commanded. Across Zephyrian space, human fleets emerged from hyperspace and began systematic bombardment of every alien world simultaneously. The attacks were coordinated with precision timing, so that no Zephyrian military force could respond to help their colonies. The human ships used weapons that the Zephyrians could not defend against. Planet cracker bombs that split worlds in half, atmospheric incinerators that burned away all breathable air, quantum plague missiles that poisoned entire biospheres with genetic toxins. Captain Steve Johnson led the attack on Zephyria 7, an industrial world with over 8 billion alien inhabitants. His task force surrounded the planet and began methodical destruction of every city, factory and military installation on the surface. Sir, we are receiving surrender communications from the planetary government, his communications officer reported. They are offering to evacuate all military personnel and negotiate terms for ending hostilities. Steve thought about the children who had died on New Terra and the families that had been hunted down while trying to escape. Send them our standard response. The human fleet replied by launching quantum plague missiles into Zephyria 7's atmosphere. The alien surrender offers turned to screams of terror as their population began dying from genetic toxins that attacked their cellular structure. Within 3 days, the planet was completely silent. Colonel Ryan Bell received reports from all 17 attack groups as they completed their missions. Every Zephyrian core world had been sterilized. Every military installation had been reduced to atomic dust. Every government center had been erased from existence. Sir, long-range sensors are detecting Zephyrian fleet movements throughout their territory, his tactical officer reported. They appear to be abandoning their outer colonies and concentrating all remaining forces around their homeworld. Ryan nodded with satisfaction. The aliens were finally beginning to understand that this was not a war they could win through superior technology or military strategy. This was an extermination campaign conducted by a species that no longer cared about the rules of civilized warfare. Set course for Zephyros Prime, he ordered. It is time to finish what they started at New Terra. The human fleet began moving toward the Zephyrian homeworld, leaving behind 17 dead solar systems as testimony to what happened when someone decided to commit genocide against humanity. The galaxy was about to witness the final act of Operation Alien Extinction. Ambassador Lucy Thompson stood before the Galactic Coalition Council in the Grand Assembly Hall on Nexus Station. Representatives from 43 different alien species sat in their specialized seats, each one designed to accommodate their unique biology. The massive screens around the chamber displayed footage that had shocked every civilization in the galaxy. The images showed Zephyrian worlds burning from pole to pole. Once mighty alien fleets scattered as debris fields across multiple star systems. Cities that had stood for millennia reduced to smoking craters that would never heal. The footage came from automated observation posts that had recorded humanity's systematic destruction of the Zephyrian Empire. Lucy had been Earth's ambassador to the Galactic Coalition for 5 years, back when humanity was considered a minor species that had barely left their home solar system. Most alien civilizations had ignored Earth's diplomatic requests and treated human colonies as insignificant outposts on the edge of civilized space. Now every alien in the galaxy wanted to know what humanity had become. Honored delegates, Lucy began, her voice carrying clearly through the translation systems. 3 months ago, the Zephyrian Empire committed unprovoked genocide against the human colony of New Terra. 10 billion innocent civilians were murdered in a single day. Men, women, and children burned alive while trying to escape. She activated the holographic display showing the attack on New Terra. The alien delegates had seen this footage before, but they watched again with expressions of growing horror. The Zephyrians had targeted schools, hospitals, and evacuation ships with systematic precision. The Zephyrian Empire sent humanity a message written in the blood of our children. Lucy continued. They believed that murdering 10 billion humans would force our species to retreat to Earth and abandon all territorial expansion. They were wrong. The screens changed to show human warships emerging from hyperspace around Zephyrian worlds. The alien delegates gasped as they watched Earth's fleet demonstrate technology that seemed impossible. Human ships moved with speed and precision that defied known physics. Their weapons cut through Zephyrian defenses like they were made of paper. Ambassador Krelthak of the Altarian Republic raised one of his 4 arms to speak. His species had been enemies of the Zephyrian Empire for centuries, and had initially celebrated news of humanity's victories. Now his insectoid face showed only fear. Ambassador Thompson, our scientists have analyzed the energy signatures from your weapons. Some of them appear to violate the fundamental laws of physics as we understand them. How did your species develop such advanced technology? Lucy smiled coldly. Earth has been preparing for hostile alien contact since we first left our solar system. We built weapons hoping we would never need them. The Zephyrians gave us a reason to use them. The cetacean delegate from Aquaria Prime spoke through his water-filled communication tank. The footage shows your forces targeting civilian populations and non-military installations. This appears to violate every interstellar treaty regarding conduct during warfare. The Zephyrians targeted our civilians first, Lucy replied. They chose to make this a war of extinction. Earth simply accepted their terms and proved better at it than they were. She activated another set of recordings that showed the final stages of humanity's campaign. Zephyrian planets died one by one as human forces deployed weapons that poisoned entire atmospheres. Alien colonies were evacuated only to be hunted down by relentless pursuit ships that showed no mercy to refugees. Dr. Claire Adams transmitted the intercepted communications from Earth's intelligence services. The recordings played through the chamber's speakers in dozens of alien languages as translation systems worked to convert Zephyrian pleas for mercy. The alien voices begged humanity to stop the killing. They offered complete surrender, territorial concessions, war reparations, and the execution of their own military leaders. Some Zephyrian civilians tried to negotiate separate peace agreements with human commanders, promising to provide intelligence about their own species in exchange for their lives. Earth's response was always the same recorded message played in perfect Zephyrian language. New Terra remembers. No quarter given, no mercy granted. Extinction is the only acceptable outcome. Ambassador Veltar of the Crystalline Consortium spoke with a voice like breaking glass. Ambassador Thompson, your species has destroyed 17 inhabited worlds and killed over 200 billion Zephyrian civilians. When will this slaughter end? When every Zephyrian in the galaxy is dead, Lucy answered without hesitation. The chamber fell into shocked silence. Several alien delegates began urgent conversations with their home governments through encrypted communication channels. Others activated emergency protocols that had not been used in centuries. Fleet Admiral Tony Rodriguez appeared on the communication screen from his flagship Terra's hammer as it approached Zephyros Prime. Behind him, the bridge crew worked with calm efficiency while preparing for the final assault on the Zephyrian homeworld. Honored delegates of the Galactic Coalition, Tony said, you are about to witness the conclusion of Operation Alien Extinction. The Zephyrian homeworld contains the last surviving members of the species that committed genocide against humanity. The main display showed Zephyros Prime, a beautiful world with purple oceans and silver continents. Massive cities covered the surface, home to 10 billion Zephyrians who represented the final remnant of their ancient civilization. Orbital platforms and defensive satellites surrounded the planet in desperate preparation for humanity's arrival. We have received over 50,000 individual surrender offers from Zephyrian civilians, Tony continued. They promise to relocate to uninhabitable worlds, submit to human authority, and accept whatever punishment Earth decides to impose. We have rejected all offers. The human fleet took positions around Zephyros Prime with mechanical precision. Earth ships vastly outnumbered the remaining Zephyrian defenders and carried weapons that could crack planets in half. The outcome was never in doubt. Tony's voice remained calm and professional as he gave his final orders. All ships prepare to deploy the dimensional collapse weapon. Target, Zephyros Prime core structure. The alien delegates in the Coalition chamber watched in absolute horror as humanity deployed technology that existed only in theoretical physics. The weapon did not simply destroy Zephyros Prime, it erased the planet from existence by collapsing the space-time, rounded into a controlled black hole. Where the Zephyrian homeworld had existed for millions of years, only twisted space-time remained.
10 billion aliens died.
Instantly, as their entire planet folded in on itself and disappeared into a gravity well that would exist. Until the heat death of the, universe, the dimensional collapse sent shockwaves through subspace that were detected by every civilization in the galaxy. Earth had demonstrated that they possessed weapons capable of erasing solar systems from reality itself. Ambassador Lucy Thompson turned to address the stunned alien delegates one final time. The Zephyrian Empire no longer exists. Every member of their species is dead. Every world they inhabited is uninhabitable. Every trace of their civilization has been removed from the galaxy. She paused to let the implications sink in before continuing. Humanity did not start this war. We did not choose to make it a conflict of total extermination. But when someone murders 10 billion human children, this is the consequence. Several alien ambassadors activated emergency communication links to their home governments. Others began drafting formal diplomatic notes offering friendship treaties with Earth. A few species quietly began relocating their colonies away from human territory. Earth's message to the galaxy is simple, Lucy concluded. Approach human space with peaceful intentions or do not approach at all. We remember New Terra, and we will never forgive genocide against our species. The Galactic Coalition Council session ended in chaos as alien civilizations rushed to establish diplomatic relations with the species that had just demonstrated the ability to erase entire planets from existence. Humanity was no longer a minor power on the edge of civilized space. They were the most terrifying military force the galaxy had ever seen, and every alien civilization now lived in fear of earning their attention. President Daniel Hayes stood before the United Earth Assembly in the Great Hall, where humanity's leaders gathered to make decisions that shaped the future of their species. 1 year had passed since New Terra burned, and the galaxy had learned what happened when someone decided to commit genocide against humans. Behind him, holographic displays showed star charts of what used to be the Zephyrian Empire. Now empty space marked with quarantine beacons and memorial monuments to human dead. The assembly hall was packed with representatives from every human colony and space station. Earth's population had grown from 12 billion to 15 billion, as refugees from other worlds returned home to help rebuild their species. The mood in the chamber was different from the desperate anger that had followed New Terra's destruction. Now there was quiet satisfaction and grim determination. Operation Alien Extinction has concluded with complete success, the president announced to thunderous applause. Not a single Zephyrian survives anywhere in the galaxy. Their species has been removed from existence as punishment for murdering 10 billion human children. Director Alice Brown of Colonial Resettlement took the podium to outline humanity's expansion into former enemy territory. Her department had grown from a small bureaucratic office to one of the most important agencies in human government. She carried plans for 43 new colonies to be built in former Zephyrian space. Earth's population is ready to reclaim what was taken from us, Alice announced. The worlds that once belonged to alien murderers will now serve as homes for human families. Our new colonies will be more than cities. They will be fortresses designed to ensure that genocide against humanity never happens again. The holographic display showed construction plans for military colonies that could defend themselves against any conceivable alien attack. Each settlement would have orbital defense platforms, underground bunker systems, and enough firepower to sterilize approaching enemy fleets. Humanity had learned from New Terra's destruction and would never again build defenseless colonies. Captain Emma Walsh commanded the first patrol of the Terran Extinction fleet as her squadron moved through former Zephyrian territory on routine monitoring missions. Her ships carried sensors designed to detect any sign of alien military activity and weapons capable of destroying entire solar systems if necessary. Emma had lost her parents on New Terra when the Zephyrians bombed the retirement center where they lived. She joined the Extinction fleet because she wanted to make sure that no alien species ever again made the mistake of attacking human civilians. Her crews were trained in tactics that prioritized alien extermination over human casualties. All ships report Sector 7 is clear of hostile activity, her tactical officer announced. Long-range sensors detect no alien military installations within 50 light-years of our position. Emma nodded with satisfaction. The former Zephyrian Empire had been transformed into a buffer zone of empty space that surrounded human territory. Any alien species that wanted to approach Earth's colonies would have to cross hundreds of light years of dead worlds and automated defense stations, continue patrol pattern and maintain surveillance of all border regions, she ordered. If any alien fleet approaches human space, I want to know about it before they finish their first hyperspace jump. The Extinction fleet was humanity's insurance policy against future genocidal attacks. Their ships patrolled the borders of human territory with instructions to destroy first and ask questions later if they encountered any sign of alien military activity. The galaxy had learned that humans did not forgive genocide, and the Extinction fleet existed to remind everyone of that lesson. Ambassador Lucy Thompson received diplomatic delegations from alien civilizations who wanted to establish formal relations with humanity. The Galactic Coalition building had been rebuilt with special security measures designed to accommodate human representatives who were now considered the most dangerous species in known space. The hegemony of Kethmore arrived with gifts and offers of trade agreements. Their insectoid ambassador spoke through translation systems while trying not to show fear of the humans who had erased an entire species from existence. Honored Ambassador Thompson, the hegemony wishes to establish peaceful relations with Earth and offers exclusive trading rights in our territory, the alien diplomat said, carefully. Lucy studied the trade proposals while thinking about the children who had died on New Terra. Every alien civilization in the galaxy now wanted to be humanity's friend, but their friendship was based on terror rather than mutual respect. Earth will consider trade agreements with species that demonstrate genuine commitment to peaceful coexistence, she replied. However, we will be monitoring your military activities and territorial expansion. Any aggressive behavior toward human colonies will be met with immediate retaliation. The Crystalline Consortium offered to share advanced technology in exchange for human protection from other alien empires. The Aquarian Federation proposed joint scientific research projects. Even species that had never contacted Earth before were sending diplomatic missions with offers of friendship and cooperation. Jake Morrison walked through the memorial garden built on the site where New Terra's capital city used to stand. The planet had been terraformed again and turned into a monument to the 10 billion humans who died in the Zephyrian attack. Their names were carved into crystal walls that stretched for miles across the former city center. Jake had been promoted to admiral and given command of the memorial fleet that guarded New Terra's rebuilt orbital stations. He spent most of his time making sure that the planet's new defensive systems could repel any future alien attack. The memorial world would never again be vulnerable to genocidal monsters. Admiral Morrison, we have visitors requesting permission to enter the system, his communications officer reported. Jake looked at the sensor display showing a small fleet of alien ships approaching New Terra. They were flying under diplomatic flags and broadcasting messages of peaceful intent. The vessels belonged to the Altarian Republic, one of the species that had celebrated humanity's early victories against the Zephyrians. What do they want? Jake asked. They are requesting permission to visit the memorial and pay respects to the human dead. Their ambassador says they want to apologize for not helping during the Zephyrian attack. Jake considered the request while looking at the crystal monuments that held the names of murdered human children. The Altarians had done nothing to help when New Terra burned, but now they wanted to show remorse for their inaction. Grant them permission to visit the memorial, he decided, but maintain full weapons lock on their ships while they are in our territory. If they make any threatening moves, destroy them immediately. President Hayes concluded his speech to the Earth Assembly by activating the new monitoring network that would watch every alien civilization in the galaxy. Thousands of automated stations had been placed throughout space to detect any sign of military buildup or aggressive expansion by non-human species. Humanity now controls the most advanced intelligence network in galactic history, he announced. We will know if any alien species begins developing weapons that could threaten human colonies. We will monitor their communications, track their fleet movements, and assess their potential for committing genocide against our people. The monitoring stations were equipped with weapons that could destroy entire star systems without warning. If Earth's intelligence network detected preparations for another attack like New Terra, the response would be immediate and absolute. No alien species would ever again have the opportunity to murder human civilians. The galaxy belongs to humanity now, President Hayes concluded. Not through conquest, but through the absolute demonstration that crossing Earth results in complete annihilation. We remember New Terra, and we will never forget what happens to species that choose to make war against human children. The Earth Assembly rose in unanimous support of their president's declaration. Humanity had become the dominant power in the galaxy, through their willingness to commit total genocide against their enemies. Other alien civilizations lived in constant fear of earning human attention, and that fear would keep the peace for generations to come. In the depths of space, automated human monitoring stations broadcast their message continuously on all frequencies, in every known alien language. The words were simple and clear, designed to be understood by every intelligent species in the galaxy. The Terran species remembers New Terra. Approach human space with peaceful intentions, or approach it not at all.